have no bloopers for this video because I make no mistakes. Hello! Welcome back to my channel. I look ugly right now because I'm not actually going to be doing a makeup tutorial. I'm going to be doing kind of like a get ready with me chit chat sort of thing. Look, I was watching old videos that I had recorded and never uploaded, and I just decided to delete them. I used to be so pretty, and now I look like this. Wait a minute. I just got out of the shower, haven't done my skincare or anything, so I got this Burt's Bees Acne Solutions deal thing. Girl, it's very strong, but it also dries very quickly. So I just get a little bit on my finger and just kind of move it around. I used to just straight up like just put it on my face, and then it dripped down into my eye, and I was real scared I was gonna go blind. So I'm gonna use my moisturizing cream from CeraVe. Ooh, nose. It's so freaking hot, and my AC doesn't work. And then I tried to open the window and I broke it. Anyways, everything is dry and oily at the same time. I feel the need to talk about something kind of serious. So I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. Have you heard of it? I feel like Bailey's serious.
Have you heard of her?
I'm sure many of you have, especially if you haven't. So basically what imposter syndrome is, you know what, let me get a definition. Okay, so it says imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which one doubts one's accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Recognize that? Feeling that? I do. I went through like a conference type deal where they talked about imposter syndrome, and that was the first time I ever heard of it, and it just smacked me in the face and pushed me down the stairs. Like, that was me. I had never heard of it. I never knew what it was. And then to hear it for the first time and find out that that's basically my life, I was like, what? So one of the things they talked about was a lot of people deal with imposter syndrome if they are very smart as a child. I was pretty smart as a kid. Wasn't the smartest, but I worked really hard. I had a really good like work ethic in school. I didn't do any sports. I wasn't really in theater when I was younger. As I got older, I got more into like sports and theater and improv and yearbook and all that jazz. But when I was really little, I didn't really do anything but school, and my parents expected a lot of me. And that's also like a thing from imposter syndrome, is like you have a lot of like pressure put on you to do well in school, whether it is yourself or someone else. And it's, I mean, like I could try so hard in a class and then like get like a B+ or something, and my parents would be like, you know, what are you doing? Like, you need to study more. Like, why are you wasting your time? Blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, shout out to Becky and Don. They did their darndest best. How all this pressure put on you as a kid to do well in school. And then when you do, people like brag about it. So my parents were constantly talking about how smart I was and I was a genius. I didn't do my eyebrows. Oh my gosh. Pause. I gotta do my eyebrows. Okay, I normally do my eyebrows off camera because it takes so much freaking time, but whatever. We're gonna make do. Yeah, and so like when you're constantly told that you are smart and that you're a genius or whatever, and then you have the grades to prove it, kind of starts this development of like imposter syndrome. I went from a private school to a public school. For the public school, it was so much easier. I didn't have to try that hard, and that wasn't even because I was smart. It was just because public school sucks. When I got into college, I had kind of lost my work ethic, and I didn't like try as hard in my classes. And so I like just started to let things go, and I wouldn't read books that I was supposed to read, and I wouldn't do that well on tests. And another big thing about imposter syndrome, you don't know how to study because you've never done it. And like, I remember Someone asked me when I first started college, they were like, so what's your favorite study technique? And I was like, I take a nap, or your study techniques are so extreme that it's just reread the whole book. And so then you get to college and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna study, I don't know how, and I'm gonna take this test and I'm gonna ace it. And then you don't. Because in college you actually have to study for stuff. It starts this vicious thing of like, well, you know, I must be stupid, like I am a fraud, I am not who I thought I was. All that crap. You just can't figure out, like, am I smart? Am I just lazy? Or like, am I stupid and I just convinced everyone that I was smart? It's also weird because growing up I was smart, but it's very hard to say that. Like, to just be like, yeah, I'm a smart person, I'm a smart kid, and then like in your mind you're like, well, am I really? Like, that's so conceited. Like, why would I say that? I got a C on that test. Well, I'm not a smart person, I'm stupid. Like, why would I say that I'm a smart person? And then you hear other people, they're like, I'm so smart, like I get A's in everything. And you're like, really, Jennifer? Do you get A's in everything? Okay. I hate. Did you know I hate when I'm taking a class with someone, or like I make a friend in that class or whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh, I got like a 75 on that test. He must be grading so hard. What did you get? And I got like a 94. And I'm like, it's really weird to have conversations with friends from high school and just friends that you have like in college or whatever, because then they will make little comments of like, oh, well, you're so smart, like you won't need to study, or, you know, like you do well on the tests, so it doesn't matter what your presentation score is. But at least for me, with how I experience imposter syndrome, because I expect myself to get good grades, I try very hard on everything. Because when you're taking 4 or 5 courses, like you have a presentation for one class and an essay for the other class and a test for another class all on the same day, and you feel the need to ace all of them, stresses you out. Don't come for my eyebrows, okay? And another thing I experience with imposter syndrome is it makes you feel the need to be a perfectionist in absolutely everything. There's no reason to be. When I do my makeup and everything, if it doesn't look spot on, I hate it, I'm ugly, I'm not going anywhere. Like, you know, like the definition said, it's not even necessarily school. It's just achievements in general. Like, it even affects like my relationship. For a good like 2 months before we started dating, I was convinced that he was being like dared to entertain me or something. I was under the assumption that he doesn't really like me, his friends put him up to this, and the fact that no one talks about it makes it even crazier, because like you genuinely think that you're a fraud, and then you come to find out that there's actually like a word for it, and you actually are smart and you know what you're talking about, and you're like, what do you mean? Like, but do any of you struggle with imposter syndrome or something like it, or you think you might struggle with it, or you've never heard it before? I love that this is the side that got messed up and this is the side you have to look at. Like, come on. I watched a podcast by Smosh. But yeah, so I was watching their Smosh podcast. They were talking about like their insecurities and stuff. And even though like they weren't talking about imposter syndrome, it just reminded me of imposter syndrome, because I feel like a lot of my insecurities, at least, can be related back to that, because they were also talking about like body dysmorphia and working out and weight loss, and people with body dysmorphia don't really know what their body looks like, and they think that their body is like misshapen and weird. And I definitely can't diagnose myself, but I feel like I experienced some of that. Growing up, I was very chunky, If you knew me as a kid, I was a big kid. Lost a lot of weight like throughout middle school, and then in high school, a peaked girl. Now, I was very skinny in high school, but at the time, I thought I was so fat. Like, I hated how I looked. I thought I was obese and gross. You know, I couldn't wear bathing suits comfortably. You know, I think I was like 18 before I actually wore like a two-piece bathing suit, and it was still like high-waisted, had like a dangly thing just to cover whatever I could. And then these past couple years since I've graduated, I've gained a lot of weight. I look back at pictures of myself in high school, and I'm like, wow, I really thought I was fat back then. Look, do you see this fatness? Do you see how many pimples I have? I feel like just one of the main problems with all of these things is that, you know, we are our own worst critic. And I believe it's because we see everything about ourselves. Like, we see our grades, and we see how hard we study for things, and we see, you know, how our jeans don't fit us, and we see our roles when we look in the mirror, and like, we see all of these things, and we're convinced that we know the most about ourselves. But in the Smosh podcast, they also talk about how we don't know ourselves at all. I don't think there's one person in the world that is just like, no, I'm confident on everything. Good for you, Jennifer. I don't know why I keep saying Jennifer. I'm sorry to all the Jennifers out there. Where did this video go? I don't even know. It wasn't supposed to be this deep. I don't know. Life is hard. It sucks. And there's a thing out there called imposter syndrome. That's what you can learn from this video. I even wanted to put like some bronzer like more on my cheeks. Kind of want to use the same color that I used on my eye a little bit. I don't know. Is that weird? We're about to find out. I just had a mini breakdown because I was trying to like put eyeshadow on my cheeks, and my finger just like scratched one of my eyeshadows, and I got on my dress, and anyways. But I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm digging like this like tanned look, whatever. I don't know what I was trying to do. So I'm sorry this video got like weird and deep, and I just kind of like rambled about whatever. What am I doing over here? Pretty sure my next video will be a makeup tutorial, so look out for that one. I've been struggling a lot with my hair lately too, because like, y'all remember it used to be super curly, and now like it won't do nothing. And when I put like gel and like leave-in conditioner and stuff, it gets like this crunchy. I don't know. I might just pin it up. See, look at this, look at it. Okay, well, I don't know what this video was. I don't know what it was supposed to be. It got weird, but whatever. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you maybe in a couple days. Who knows? I hope you have a good day. Bye.